Hello everyone, it's Nick here, and it's time for the 2-week roundup. Yes, here we go. Been quite a few duff games we reviewed this week, a few mediocre ones and a couple of really good ones. But before we come to those, of course, so not all of them have made the top 6 this time because, well, we started reviewing more Spectrum games. Ugh. Yes, well, that's what you wanted, so that's what I sort of delivered. But before we come to the top 6, there's two pinball tables that we looked at in Zen Pinball 2, both played on the PlayStation 4. And the first one was Fallout, published by Zen Studios in 2016 and based on the movie franchise. If you've watched the previous videos in this series I've been doing, you'll see this is table 3 from the Bethesda pack. I prefer Doom. You get 3 tables in this one. Doom's the best one, and then Skyrim and Fallout. Fallout is pretty level with Skyrim, but the RPG elements of the game sort of like get in the way and hold up the fun of pinball, to be honest with you. So it's okay graphically, the sound's pretty good, but I was just a little bit underwhelmed really. So buy the pre-packs for Doom, but don't expect too much from the others, pretty as they look. And the other table we looked at was back on the Marvel sort of area. The Avengers are back. It's Age of Ultron. I've reviewed another table before on the PlayStation 3. This is one by 2015 actually. The other one I reviewed on the PlayStation 3 a little while back was the Avengers, their standard table, and that was a lot more fun than this one. This one is there's a bit too much, well, there's not enough going on and it's a bit complicated, the table. The original one had different coloured balls representing each Avenger. This has got that, but you're a bit further away because it's more plain. Maybe I need to practice it more, but I'm not overly impressed with this one, so it's not one I'll be going to back to very soon. So 2 pretty mediocre tables in my opinion. Other people might disagree there this time around, so hopefully they get a bit better in the future. Now the top 6, there's two reviews, 2 games that didn't make it in the top 6, so I'll go over those quickly in no particular order. Now Terminator 2 on the ZX Spectrum 128K by Ocean in 1991. Now probably most of you out there have watched Terminator 2, and it's probably the best in my mind of the whole franchise, although Terminator 1 was pretty good as well. But the graphics are great in Terminator 2, the movie that is, the CGI. There's a few new things there where the T-1000, the liquid Terminator, goes through bars and stuff like that. Now you think the ZX Spectrum, right, it's 8-bit, they should have done okay. Ocean are a good outfit, but this game is very, very lackluster and dull. The fighting scenes are slow. One person commented quite accurately that if you took the kicking away, it'd look a bit like tickling, and I can see their point. It's very slow and laboured. It's very difficult, and it's not really worth progressing on. It's a series of puzzles and fights, and one chase thing where you got to rescue John Connor going through sort of like an obstacle course, but no, avoid it if you can. And the other game didn't make the top 6 on the ZX Spectrum again, but this time the 48K, was Overlander. Now I reviewed this a day after we put up a revisited series of the Commodore Amiga Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge, so it probably didn't have too much of a chance. But I've already reviewed Overland on the Amiga as well. Overland on the ZX Spectrum it's slow, it's annoying. You have to do certain missions going along a roadway, but the collision detection, if the motorbike crashes into you, which they quite often kamikaze, you explode into a ball of flame. It's just, yeah, have a look at the review, but I didn't really get the best out of it. It's based on Road Blasters, which I haven't reviewed on the Spectrum yet, but did review on the Commodore Amiga. They're based on games based on arcade conversions. Again, yeah, we haven't started off well, have we, with these games? So let's have the top 6 then. Oh dear. Now, this one probably wouldn't have made the top 6 unless the other 2 was so bad. But it's a public domain game. So it's on the Commodore Amiga. It's Les Dennis Hangman, published by TRACYSOFT in 1993. Written by a guy called... I've forgotten. Dan Knapp, is it? God, sorry, I think it is that. But TRACYSOFT anyway, 1993. It's a public domain game, meaning it came out at the time free, so someone's done it for fun rather to make any commercial profit from it, and he asked to spread it as much as he possibly can. Now, for one person working on their own, probably in their bedroom, it's not a bad game. It's It revolves around the game of Hangman. I don't know why it's used Les Dennis. Well, I do sort of, but you don't see Les Dennis in the whole of it. But it does have a sound effect from Family Fortunes you used to host called if you know that sound. It's called Family Feud in the States there. But basically you must just guess a word. The music isn't too bad on this. And if you don't, the man gets hung at the end. And that's essentially it, Hangman. But comes sixth. As I say, I can never be too critical on public domain games. It's just one or two people making it for fun rather than charging 30 quid a time for it. So you have to look at the value as well. It isn't too bad. He says actually in the game that it's the 7th instalment of it, so he's gradually improved. So I don't know if TRACYSOFT did anything after that, but well done to them or to him. In 5th place on the Game Boy Advance is World Tennis Stars, published by CRAVE Entertainment in 2004. Now, if I had to compare this to any other game, it'd probably be Droopy Tennis on the Game Boy Advance. But the game, although it provides a lot of different courts and different players, there's no world stars in it. They're all cartoony, and the gameplay is a bit lethargic. There's not much to it. It's a little bit dull, to be honest with you. If you're really into tennis, you'd probably go for Virtua Tennis first on the Game Boy Advance. Have a look at Droopy Tennis, but you know they're very similar, those two. There's better games out there, and also as well the playing surfaces, the ball seems to react exactly the same on each of them. There's one bit where you're on Hawaii Beach and the ball bounces just as high if you was on a clay or a hard court. So it's you'd have to do well to get through the whole review of that. I tried to keep it as entertaining as possible, but it was tricky. So that come 5th. Now, are these games going to get any better in a moment? Or I'm just reviewing mediocre and duff games and public domain games? Well, in 4th place, Frank Bruno's Boxing on the ZX Spectrum, published by Elite Systems in 1985. Overlander was by Elite Systems as well from 1988. So a few from Elite Systems this time around. Frank Bruno's Boxing. It's based on the arcade cabinet Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, or Super Punch-Out, I believe. Graphics are okay for the ZX Spectrum. This is in 85, as I sort of like mentioned there. One bit is a bit of frustration is there's a bit of tape loading that goes on. So if you manage to defeat one boxer, then you have to load the tape to get the next one. But it does give you a code, so you don't have to keep redoing it the whole time. So type in the code, you can go to the next stage. Now, whether I was doing something wrong, you can do like punches and blocks and try and avoid various blows. Whether I was doing something wrong, but when I knocked the opposing boxer over, because you have to do it about 3 times, as soon as he got up, he did one sort of like jab, and I was knocked to the floor straight away and had to start again. And you can tell that in the review, because I mentioned it. I found that extremely frustrating. So the game was okay, but I wanted it to be better than it was. But I'd rather play that than World Tennis Stars or Les Dennis Hangman or those other 2 Spectrum games I mentioned before there. So in 6th place was Les Dennis Hangman by TRACYSOFT in 1993 on the Amiga. 5th place is World Tennis Stars on the Game Boy Advance, published by CRAVE Entertainment in 2004. And in 4th place, Frank Bruno's Boxing by Elite Systems on the ZX Spectrum 48K in 1985. Okay, so let's come to the top 3. Yeah, as I say, it was a few games we looked at this time, but let's see what the top 3 are, and they're quite a bit better than the others I mentioned so far. In 3rd place, this comes from a recommendation. It was Total Football on the Commodore Amiga, published by DOMARK in 1996. Now, when it comes to the Commodore Amiga, there's quite a lot of football games to compare it with, so there's a huge amount of competition, most notably the Kickoff series and Sensible Soccer. Total Football isn't as good as those, in my opinion, but it doesn't try to copy them either, so has my respect. It uses a 3D isometric view of the game, and you go through sort of like a World Cup sort of championship there. It's a bit hard to see the whole screen with this 3D perspective. Someone told me it's easy with a 2 fire button joystick, because I think it came out on one of the Sega systems as well. But on the Amiga, 1 fire button does a pass, quick succession, 2 fire buttons, a medium pass, and 3 in a row, like a clearance or a super shot. And that makes it a bit awkward sometimes in tight quarters there. I think the secret of that was to do lots of short passes to get where you need to be. So it's okay, it's not too bad as a football game, but not one of my favourite ones. And so, yeah, it's worthy of 3rd place. That's Total Football. I'm not sure if DOMARK did any other football games, to be honest with you. You'll probably tell me now in the comments below. In 1996, that one. In 2nd place, Did have it in first, but I always change my mind quite often. So in second place was Bomb Jack on the ZX Spectrum 48K, converted from the arcades, I should say, and this one again was by Elite Systems in 1986. I've already reviewed this on the Commodore Amiga. I wasn't really that impressed because the screen was a little bit squashed, but I'm happy to say the ZX Spectrum version plays really, really well. Much better than the Amiga version, so I was surprised with. Considering they're only using 48K, it moves quite fast, it used the screen quite well, good graphics and a good sound also. So yeah, I could play that for quite a lot. There's 1 or 2 players. It's not exactly the same as the arcades, but you wouldn't expect it to be, but lots of playability there. And with old games, really, the ones that are most playable, the ones you go back to, not necessarily the ones that are best graphically, but this has got everything. I didn't unfortunately own it as a kid back in the day, but coming to it, well, just in the last few months really on the Spectrum, I was really impressed. So a really good game, really well put together there, and worthy of being known as an all-time classic. So how comes that didn't come first place? Well, yeah, it's because of this next game on the PlayStation 3, which I got dirt cheap, about £3.29. I don't know if there was a sale on, but for £3.29 you get a huge amount. And it was Tekken Tag Tournament 2 by Bandai Namco in 2012. I believe it's the 8th Tekken in the Tekken series. It's like a fighting genre, and you get over 50 playable characters to control, all with their own special moves, blocks and combos. But the main game is lots of different modes. There's arcade, survival, time attack, and 8-on-8 battle mode, where you can fight against a computer or online. But essentially with the tag games, it's a sequel to the one that came out in 1999 for the PlayStation 2. You pick 2 characters, and then you like in a tag championship, so you can fight, and when your energy is getting a bit low, you're in trouble, you can tag your opponent or your partner, I should have said, and the other character comes on and you're controlling them as well. It's fast action. The loading time isn't that much, considering how much is on the disc. There's quite a lot to do. There's lots of costumes to unlock, including a bit dubious swimwear, which swimwear on a kangaroo or a panda looks a bit weird, but I haven't managed to unlock those yet, although I have seen them online. A good mixture of characters, lots of female characters, lots of male characters, monsters, different animals, and yeah, it's really put together well. So if you're a fan of the Tekken series, this is great. A huge step up, it goes without saying, to Tekken 2, which I reviewed on the PlayStation 1 about a month or so ago now, I think. So yeah, if you've got a PlayStation 3 and you can get that as cheap as I did, then by all means download that one. So yeah, really, really, really good game. And I think at the time of recording, they're working on Tekken 7 for the PlayStation 4. A lot of people say all these games are roughly the same, but I think you can say that about FIFA as well, couldn't you? Once you're used to the graphics there, extra characters and so forth, you're going to get it if you're a fan. So I might get Tekken 7, I'm not sure when it comes out. So yeah, so in third place this time round was a Total Football on the Commodore Amiga by DOMARK in 1996. Second was a Bomb Jack by Elite Systems in 1986. And the winner this time, not surprisingly, is Tekken Tag Tournament 2 by Bandai Namco in 2012. Thanks for watching all the videos. I'm glad of all your comments there. With any channel trying to develop, it's all about activity, thumbs up and thumbs down, and comments there. Any activity really is good, and as I evolve more with YouTube, I understand it a bit more. So any activity is better than no activity, and that helps with the search. So yeah, there'll be videos going up over the weekend, so if you want to have a look at those, thank you for your continued support. And till next time, take great care of yourself, and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.